Thanks for watching Panorama News live here on Nile TV International. I'm Khalid Hussein, and here are the main headlines for this Monday afternoon. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi stresses economic and political reforms will continue as Egypt hosts the annual Euro Money Conference. The High Election Committee continues to receive candidates' applications. And Egypt to hold emergency talks with Sudan and Ethiopia over the Renaissance Dam. Welcome back. The news in full. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi stressed that political and economic reform policies will continue. This came in an article the president wrote in Daily News Egypt on the occasion of Egypt hosting the Euro Money Annual Conference that started on Monday. In the article, the president reviewed his vision for the future of the Egyptian economy and the targets to be achieved by the government. The president explained the effect of the government's decision to amend the income tax and restructure the energy subsidy system. He also said that those decisions increased the allocations to education and health in the new budget. President al-Sisi noted that while it's too early to estimate the outcome of the current economic policies, it is worth mentioning that a 4.2% growth rate was reported in the fiscal year 2014-2015. He noted that the government is targeting a 5% growth rate in the current fiscal year due to the increase of the flow of direct foreign investment. The 20th anniversary of the Euro Money Egypt Conference took place today with the attendance of a big number of representatives of the world-leading companies and financial institutions. The conference was inaugurated by the Ministers of Finance and Investment. The two-day conference is held under the theme Financing the Future. It focuses on financing of the planned projects. Nile TV's Linda Abdel-Latif has more in the following report.
Lines of the 20th anniversary of the Euro Money Egypt Conference. I'm being joined right now by Mrs. Victoria Ben, who's the Director of Middle East for Euro Money Conferences. Mrs. Victoria, thank you so much for being with us today on Nile TV International.
You're welcome. It's nice to be here.
Could you please give us like an introduction on this year's conference?
Yeah, this is, as you said, this is our 20th anniversary Euro Money Egypt Conference, and it's an important year. So the theme of the conference this year is financing the future, so how to mobilize capital to revitalize Egypt's economy.
The opening session of the conference included conversations with ministers of finance and investment, besides conversations as well with representatives of world-leading companies and financial institutions. During the session, Minister of Finance, Dr. Hani Adri Demien, said that Egypt is looking forward to more economic growth, especially with the latest economic events that Egypt has witnessed recently.
We are inspired with the reforms that we have done. We're inspired with the successes we have achieved on the political stance, on the economic stance, and we are going to continue.
The conference also consisted of a number of workshops covering a wide variety of topics. Workshops included discussions on the Suez Canal corridor, as well as the Egyptian energy and electricity sector.
We started by market testing in different areas, and also we started with a project management plan to see when and what this will be done. We started with the two ports, East Port Said Port and Sukna Port, and it is running now. We're expecting infrastructure for the major industrial area to be in place in a time of 18 months. And I think now is the time to start approaching investors everywhere. The energy mix in Egypt will be 60% thermal, 20% renewable, 20% coal-fired plants. We have in the pipeline the 20% coal-fired plants. We have in the pipeline the 20% solar and wind. And also we have more than 60% by the plan of 14,100 megawatt
with the global market. It has to do with our relations, the trading relations with specific markets like Asia.
Egypt is attractive because of the size of the population and because the government seems to be following the right economic policies, particularly on reform. You've seen an increase in foreign investment into the power sector, and that's part of reforms. It's partly because of the demand for electricity in Egypt, but yes, I think those reforms have been very worthwhile.
The other workshops also included discussions on real estate, construction and housing, besides the topic of financial inclusion. Linda Abdulatif, Nile TV International.
And shedding more light on the Euro Money Conference, we're joined over the phone by Dr. Mohamed Meher, economic expert. Good afternoon, Dr. Meher.
Good afternoon.
Well, the importance of hosting the annual Euro Money Conference, a very good chance for investors to know more about the potential of Egypt, what Egypt offers.
Yes, it's actually the conference started today. It's for 2 days.
Yeah.
And it was opened by a speech from Dr. Hani Dimian, the Minister of Finance, and he, of course, talked about the new environment for the invest and the tax regime changes which already happened, which reduced the effective tax rate into 22%, 22.5%, coming down from 30% last year, which is represents a great opportunity for investors to come and to start new projects in Egypt. Also, the Minister of Investment talked about the new investment law and the executive regulations, and also mentioned that there is intention coming from the government to float the Egyptian pound in the coming period in order to reach the fair value against the other foreign currencies, which will allow foreign investors to have a positive outlook for the future after stabilizing the Egyptian pound.
Right. Dr. Meher, well, how are we going to capitalize on hosting this important conference and the participation of the different financial international institutions? How are we going to capitalize on that by hinting to mechanisms for future cooperation?
Of course, having this conference, it's a lot of international players invited to attend, and they've been present today. Also together with local institutions, financial institutions and local investment houses. And it was a great opportunity to meet together and to start discussing investment opportunities, as well as some of the mega projects being demonstrated, such as the Suez Canal Corridor. There were a very important panel about it. Also, some other panels will be conducted tomorrow regarding infrastructure and the transportation sector in Egypt and the expansion in this sector. All these kinds of projects will represent a very good opportunity for foreign investors, the foreign direct investment, to come to Egypt in the coming few years.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Mohamed Meher, economic expert, for joining us and outlining more on the importance of holding the Euro Money Conference in Egypt. Prime Minister Mahlab attended on Monday the signing ceremony of a contract to establish and run a logistical service trade zone in Gharbiya Governorate. The agreement was signed between the Domestic Trade Authority and the International Investment Company as part of a 2030 strategic plan to establish more trade zones in all governorates. Earlier, Mahlab held a meeting to follow up on the development plans for the southern areas of Halayb, Shalatin, Abu Ramad, and Bernice. During the meeting, the Prime Minister stressed on the importance of implementing all the developmental projects in the south to create more job opportunities and sources of income. Mahlab also ordered studies to be conducted on establishing factories needed in the area, as well as building all the service facilities by the end of the year. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister said that the income of the civil servants will not be affected under the new law. Speaking at a press conference, the Premier said that regulations for implementing the new civil servants law is to be issued soon. Mahlab noted that those regulations will take into consideration the interests of the employee. He cautioned that the government will not allow any halt at work in any of the state institutions. He warned of attempts to cause chaos in the political scene ahead of the upcoming parliamentary elections, and that this will be met with full decisiveness. Higher Electoral Commission announced that the number of candidates applying in the upcoming parliamentary elections had reached 4,136 till Sunday, including 230 women. The committee started receiving applications on the 1st of September, and candidates have 12 days to submit their applications for both list and individual seats. The committee announced that the parliamentary elections will kick off October 17, 2015. The final list of candidates will be announced September 28th so that they can start their electoral campaigns. The committee decided that the elections would be held on 2 phases.